January 6, 2021, 2:24 p.m. Washington time. You're sitting in the White House dining room. On the table, a cold hamburger. On the screen, the Capitol. Your Capitol, your crowd. They're breaking windows, they're beating police officers, they're carrying your flags. A guy in horns and a fur hat is screaming something about freedom. A woman climbs through a broken window. A second later, a shot, she falls. Your phone is exploding. Advisors are begging, do something, tell them to stop. You're silent, you're watching the screen. And you know what you like. Somewhere deep inside, in the place where normal people have a conscience. You like this. They came for you. They're ready to die for you. This isn't a riot, it's a rating. The highest rating of your life. 4 people will die today. 1 officer from a stroke the next day. 4 more cops will take their own lives within a year. And you'll become the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. The first to be charged with 91 felony counts, the first whose mugshot the whole world will see, and the first to win an election again after all of it. But to understand how you got here, in this dining room, with this hamburger, with this crowd on the screen, we need to go back 74 years, to Queens, 1946, to the delivery room of Jamaica Hospital, where it all began. All right, let's go. June 14, 1946. New York, Queens. You come into the world as the 4th of 5 children. Your father, Fred Trump, German by descent, a developer by profession, a son of a bitch by calling. Fred builds cheap housing for the working class in Brooklyn and Queens. No skyscrapers, no glass-fronted towers. Brick boxes for people who can't afford Manhattan. But Fred is a genius at what he does. He counts every nail, every board, every cent. He comes to the construction site and picks up unused nails off the ground with his own hands. Your mother, Marion MacLeod, an immigrant from Scotland, came to America at 18 with $50 in her pocket. She worked as a maid. She met Fred at a party. 4 years later, a wedding. She loves luxury. She loves watching Queen Elizabeth appear on the balcony, loves imagining herself in her place. But she's the wife of a developer from Queens. Not a queen. You grow up in a 23-room house in Jamaica Estates. Sounds fancy. The reality is it's the suburbs. Not Manhattan, not Park Avenue, Queens, and you feel it every day. Manhattan is across the river. You see its lights from the window, the skyscrapers, the wealth. Real life. And you're in Queens, in a brick house with a father who counts nails. Spoiler, this grudge against Queens will drive you your whole life. Your older brother, Fred Jr., Freddie. He was supposed to inherit the business. He's tall, handsome, charming, everyone loves him. But Freddie wants to fly, literally. He dreams of becoming a pilot. Your father is
furious. A pilot. My son is going to be a bus driver for a plane. That's not a career, that's a disgrace. You watch these blow-ups, you memorize them, you learn. Lesson 1, don't be like Freddie. Don't show weakness. Don't admit mistakes. Don't give your father a reason to be disappointed. You're 7 years old, and you already understand the rules of the game. You're a troubled child. Teachers complain, you don't listen. You bully your classmates. You throw rocks at the neighbor's baby in a stroller. Yes. Rocks. At a baby. In a stroller. Your mother doesn't know what to do with you. Your father does. It's 1959, you're 13. Fred sends you to the New York Military Academy. It's not West Point, it's a private school for troubled teenagers with rich parents. Barracks, uniform, wake up at 6 a.m. drills. You hate the place for the first 3 weeks, then you understand the system. What matters here is hierarchy, strength, the ability to lean on the weak and suck up to the strong. You're good at that. You were born with that skill. By graduation you're a cadet captain. Sounds impressive. The reality is it's a position for guys who polish their shoes well and don't ask questions. But the main thing is, you learn how to look the part. The uniform fits perfectly, the crease is like a ruler, the handshake is firm, the gaze is confident. Substance doesn't matter. Packaging matters. That's the second lesson you'll carry forever. 1964, you're 18, time for college. Freddie, meanwhile, has fallen apart. He did become a pilot at TWA. His father stopped talking to him. Freddie started drinking. First in the evenings, then in the mornings, and he got fired from the airline. He came back to his father. To work construction. Humiliated, broken. You watch this, you remember it. Lesson 3, never drink, never lose control. Alcohol is for the weak, for Freddie. You enroll at Fordham. 2 years later you transfer to the Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania. Sounds prestigious. Wharton is a name, a brand, a reality. You're not an MBA, you're an undergrad. It's like the difference between a Rolls-Royce and a Toyota with a Rolls-Royce badge on it. But you already understand, no one checks. Say Wharton and everyone nods. During your studies, the Vietnam draft. Guys your age are heading into the jungle, coming back in bags. You get 4 student deferments, then a 5th, medical one. Bone spurs on your heels. Bone spurs are growths on the heel bone. Painful to walk on, impossible to fight with. 50 years later you'll brag about your stamina on the golf course. 10 kilometers on foot, no problem. The bone spurs will have gone somewhere. But in 1968 they come in very handy. Your peers are dying in Key San. You're playing squash at Wharton. Spoiler, it's a scam, but not the way you think. 1968, you're 22, diploma in hand, time to work.
You join your father's company. Elizabeth Trump and Son. Not sons, one son. Freddie is already written off. You're the one left. An office in Brooklyn, cheap furniture, linoleum on the floor. Your father sits at his desk adding up expenses in a column by hand. This isn't what you dreamed of. You want Manhattan, you want skyscrapers, you want your name lit up in letters 10 stories tall. Your father says, wait. Learn the business, understand where the money comes from. You wait. But at the same time you're looking across the river, counting the floors of other people's towers. 1971, you're 25, you move to Manhattan. A studio on 75th Street East. Not a penthouse, not Trump Tower, just an apartment. But you're finally in the city. Here, you need connections. Money opens doors, but connections open safes. You find Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn, remember that name, he'll make you who you are. Roy is a lawyer, but an unusual one. He worked for Senator McCarthy, hunted communists in the 50s, wrecked lives, destroyed careers, blackmailed, threatened. Roy doesn't give a damn about the law. Roy only understands power. Never admit guilt. Always attack. If you're accused, accuse back. Louder, harder. You meet him at Lou Club. You're 26, he's 46. You look at each other and recognize it. 2 predators, 1 pack. Roy becomes your lawyer, your mentor, your surrogate father. Everything Fred didn't teach you, Roy will. And the first lesson comes right now. 1973, the Justice Department sues Trump management. The charge, discrimination. You're not renting apartments to black people. It's true. Fred doesn't like black tenants. He thinks they lower property values. Applications from black families were marked with a code. Those applications went straight in the trash. This is a federal case. It's a disgrace. It's the end. Roy says, no, this is the beginning. You're filing a countersuit for $100 million. Accuse the government of slander. It's absurd. It has no chance in court. But it's headlines. Trumps don't quit. The case drags on for 2 years. In the end, a settlement. You agree not to discriminate, with no admission of guilt, no fines. Did you win? No, you didn't lose either. In Roy Cohn's world, that's a victory. 1975, you're 29, time to build your own name. The Commodore Hotel. An old hotel next to Grand Central, dying. The city wants to tear it down. The neighborhood's a dump. New York is in crisis. Crime, bankruptcy, white flight to the suburbs. You see an opportunity. You go to the city government and say, I'll save this hotel. I'll make it magnificent, but I need tax breaks. 40 years without property taxes, unprecedented. It's audacious. It works. You get the breaks. Your father provides loan guarantees. Higher degrees to manage the hotel. You've put in none of your own money. All of it, other people's money, other people's guarantees, other people's brand. but the building will. Say Grand Hyatt, and the newspapers will say young developer Donald Trump saves New York. Lesson 4, money is a tool, a name is an asset. 1977, you're 30, you get married. Ivana Zelnikova. Check, a model, a skier. She's tall, beautiful, ambitious. She speaks with an accent that sounds like money. You meet at a club, she ignores you. That turns you on. A year later, a wedding. A marble altar, gilded invitations, journalists. Ivana isn't just a wife, she's a partner. She works on your projects, manages hotels, yells at contractors, counts money. She's the only person who can argue with you. Spoiler, that's exactly why you leave her. 1979, you start building the tower of your dreams. Trump Tower, 58 stories. Fifth Avenue, across from Tiffany's. The heart of Manhattan. This isn't just a building. It's a monument to you. You hire undocumented Polish workers. They work 12-hour days, sleep on the site, get paid pennies. Sometimes nothing. Later they'll sue. You'll pay $1 million to make it go away. But that's later. Right now the tower is rising. Pink marble, gold escalators, a waterfall in the atrium. Vulgar? Yes, but it's your vulgarity, your taste, your name in letters 10 feet tall. 1983, Trump Tower opens. You move into the penthouse, the 53rd floor, a triplex, 1,000 square meters. You look out the window at Central Park. The whole city beneath you. The boy from Queens on top of Manhattan. But that's not enough. It's never enough for you. 1984, you 38. You decide to become the king of Atlantic City. Casinos. Money flows like a river. A license is like a license to print cash. Chips, roulette, slot machines. Drunk tourists leaving their weekends pay behind. You build Trump Plaza, then Trump Castle, then the Taj Mahal. The biggest casino in the world. $1 billion, 120,000 square meters, 3,000 slot machines. You take on loans at insane interest rates. 14% is suicide for a business. But you believe in yourself. You're Donald Trump. You don't lose. Spoiler, you'll lose many times. But for now, the 80s are your decade. The age of greed, the age of flash, your age. You appear on the covers of Forbes, Time, Newsweek. You're the embodiment of success. The golden boy of Manhattan. You buy a yacht from Adnan Khashoggi, a Saudi arms dealer, 86 meters, a disco, a helipad. You rename it the Trump Princess. You buy a Boeing 727, paint it black and gold. Inside. Like a Baroque palace. Gold-plated seatbelts. You fly to Palm Beach for lunch. You buy a football team, the New Jersey Generals, in the USFL. You convince the league to sue the NFL. The league goes bankrupt, you get a settlement of $3. $3, literally. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're in the news. Every day, every scandal, every headline. You understand the main thing, it doesn't matter what they write. What matters is that they write about you. 1987, you write a book. Well, Tony Schwartz writes it. You talk, he types. The Art of the Deal. It's the Bible of bravado. A manifesto of self-promotion. A manual for selling air. You coin the term, truthful hyperbole. That's when you lie, but beautifully. You exaggerate so much that people think, he couldn't possibly lie this blatantly. So it must be true. The book sells millions of copies. You stop being just a developer, you become a brand. And that same year you make your first political move. A full-page ad in the New York Times. $95,000 out of your own pocket. An open letter, America should stop paying to defend countries that can defend themselves. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. This isn't politics, it's a probe, testing the reaction. Newspapers discuss it, talk shows invite you. Will you run for president? I don't want to. But if the country calls, I'll answer. The country doesn't call. Not yet. 1989, you're 43. Everything starts to fall apart. Freddie dies, your older brother. He's 32. Heart failure. He drank until the end. You don't cry. You don't know how. But Freddie will haunt you your whole life. Every time someone offers you a drink, you see his face, swollen, yellow, defeated. You never drink a drop, ever. It's not a virtue, it's fear. And that same year, Ivana finds out. Marla Maples. Blonde, actress, you've been with her for 2 years already. A secret, or so you thought. Ivana catches the two of you in Aspen on the ski slope. A scandal, screaming, the tabloids go crazy. Best sex I ever had, headline in the Post. A quote from Marla or from you, doesn't matter. You call the reporters and confirm it. You leak the dirt on yourself because it's publicity. The divorce costs $25 million, plus the estate in Connecticut, plus an apartment in Trump Tower. Ivana got the money, you got the headlines. But that's only the beginning. 1990, the year of reckoning. Your casinos are sinking. The Taj Mahal opened with a deficit. Loans are crushing you, interest is eating the profits. Your personal debt is $900 million. Your companies owe $3.5 billion. The banks are in a panic. If you go bankrupt, they lose everything. They lent you too much. You've become too big to fail. This isn't a rescue, it's extortion. You sit down at the negotiating table, 72 banks, each wants its cut. You say, guys, you have two options. 1. I go bankrupt, you get pennies on the dollar. 2. You give me more money, and I claw my way out. They give it to you, because there's no choice. This isn't business genius, this is a hostage who threatens to blow himself up. From 1991 to 1992, 4 bankruptcies in a row. The Taj Mahal, Trump Plaza, Trump Castle, Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. Every time, restructuring. Every time, creditors lose money. Every time, you stay. You sell the yacht, sell the plane, sell the airline. Yes, you had an airline, the Trump shuttle. You managed to bankrupt that too. Your personal net worth, by official estimates, drops to minus $295 million. You're poorer than broke. You owe more than you own. But you know what? It doesn't destroy you, because you understand the main thing. You weren't selling a building, you were selling a name. And the name is still worth money. People still want to live in something called Trump. Hotels still pay for a license to use 4 golden letters. You're not a businessman, you're a brand. And brands don't go bankrupt, companies do. 1993, you marry Marla. She's pregnant. A daughter, Tiffany. A wedding at the plaza. 1,000 guests. All the pomp. 4 years later, divorce. Marla gets $2 million. A laughable sum after Ivana. You're already thinking about the next one. The late 90s. You barely survive. The casinos are still sinking, but you found a new vein, licensing. People pay you for the right to put the word Trump on their buildings. Trump Towers in Istanbul, in Toronto, in Panama, in Manila. You don't build these buildings, you don't even own them. You just sell the name. It's as if Coca-Cola sold the right to slap its logo on some Chinese soda. Quality, not your problem. And then comes the offer that changes everything. 2002, you're 56. NBC offers you a reality show. The Apprentice. Format, 16 contestants compete for a job at your company. Every week you fire one. In the finale, you hire the winner. Your catchphrase, you're fired. It's brilliant. It's free advertising. Millions of people watch you sit in a gilded office and decide fates. The reality, that office is a set. Your actual office is more modest, but who cares? On screen you're the embodiment of success. A crisp suit, a confident stare, snap decisions. You fire someone every week for 14 seasons, 20 million viewers at the peak. America doesn't see the real you. America sees a character, and it falls in love. You get $50,000 an episode in the first season, $3 million by the fourth. Your fortune grows not from real estate, but from television. The Apprentice turns you from a scandal-plagued bankrupt into a successful businessman. It's the biggest con in the history of American television. And it works. In parallel, your personal life. 1998, a party at Mar-a-Lago, your club in Florida. You see her. Melania Nos. Slovenian. A model. She's 28, you're 52. You came with another woman. You ask Melania for her number, she refuses. That turns you on again. A year later you're together, 7 years later, a wedding. 2005, she's 34, you're 58. Melania is an Ivana. She doesn't argue, doesn't get into the business, doesn't yell. She's just there, beautiful, quiet, a perfect picture. You'll never know what she's thinking. Maybe she doesn't know either. 2006, you have a son, Baron. Your fifth child. Third wife, and you skip the birth. You've got a shoot, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the photo in the magazines. A happy family, a golden nursery, the perfect picture. Hold on, here comes a turn. 2011, you launch an attack on Obama. Barack Obama, the first black president. For many, a symbol of progress. For you, an opportunity. You push the birther movement, demand that Obama show his birth certificate, claiming he's not American, that he's Muslim, that his presidency is illegitimate. It's a lie. A complete, total lie. Obama was born in Hawaii. His birth certificate is real, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that millions of people want to believe it. You found a nerve, racial resentment, fear of change, nostalgia for the real America. Obama releases his birth certificate. You declare it your victory. I forced him to do it. Nobody else could, I could. This isn't politics, it's a show, and you're the star. A few days later, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Obama stands on stage and jokes about you. Donald Trump is here tonight. He can finally focus on the issues that matter, like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? The room laughs. The camera cuts to you. You're not laughing. Your jaw is clenched. Your eyes are slits. Something breaks inside. Spoiler, many believe it's at that exact moment you decide to become president, to wipe that smile off their faces forever. June 16, 2015. Trump Tower Atrium. You come down the golden escalator to Rockin' in the free world. Neon lights. The crowd roars. You step to the microphone. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. A pause. And some, I assume, are good people. The room gasps, reporters scramble, social media explodes. They call you a racist, a clown, a demagogue, finished. Your poll numbers spike. Within a month, you're leading the Republican primary. All the pundits, all the experts, all the political scientists, they don't get it. They think politics is programs, ideas, debates. You know better. Politics is television, ratings, a show. You give them a show. The primary is a bloodbath. 17 candidates, governors, senators, serious people. You destroy them one by one. Jeb Bush, son and brother of presidents, you call him low-energy Jeb. He never recovers. Marco Rubio, young, ambitious, you call him Little Marco. He starts sweating on the debate stage. Ted Cruz, an evangelical ideologue, you post a photo of his wife next to a photo of Melania with the caption, "A picture is worth 1,000 words." It's dirty. It's disgusting. It works. You don't win the debates, you cancel them. You turn every discussion into a show of insults, and in that show you're the master. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters. You say this out loud. At the rally, people laugh, applaud. They think it's a joke. It's not a joke. October 7th, 2016, a month before the election. The Washington Post publishes a tape. Access Hollywood. You're on a bus with host Billy Bush, 2005. When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything, grab M by the pussy. This isn't a metaphor, it's a confession. Republicans are in a panic. Hillary Clinton's poll numbers spike. Everyone's certain, this is the end. You hold a press conference. This was locker room talk. Bill Clinton did worse. And you invite to the debate 4 women who had accused Bill Clinton. They sit in the front row. Hillary looks at them. You don't apologize. You attack. Your voters stay with you. They've already gone too far. They've already believed. November 8th, 2016, election night. No one expects you to win. Not a single poll, not a single model. Nate Silver gives Hillary a 71% chance. You sit in Trump Tower, watching the screens, results come in. Florida is yours, Ohio is yours, Pennsylvania is yours. At 2:30 a.m., Hillary calls to concede. You, the 45th President of the United States of America. Your face on camera. You're not smiling, you look scared, because you weren't really preparing to win. It was a PR stunt. It was a way to sell books and licenses. It was a game. The game is over. You won. Hold on, it gets worse. January 20th, 2017, the inauguration. You stand on the Capitol steps. Hand on the Bible. You repeat the oath. Terrible weather, drizzling rain. The crowd is smaller than Obama's. It's visible in the photos. It's a fact. The next day your press secretary walks out to reporters. This was the largest crowd to ever witness an inauguration, period. Translation, it's a lie. An obvious, verifiable lie. Your advisor Kellyanne Conway calls it alternative facts. Welcome to your administration. The tools of power. Let's break down what you have. The U.S. military, 1.3 million people. The largest military budget in the world, $700 billion a year, more than the next 10 countries combined. You're the commander-in-chief. You can send them anywhere, for 60 days, without Congress's permission. The CIA, FBI, NSA, 17 intelligence agencies. They know everything. They read the mail. They listen to the calls. They watch from satellites. They're supposed to work for you, but they don't trust you, and you don't trust them. The nuclear football. It follows you everywhere. An officer with the codes. One call and the missiles fly. You can kill millions of people in 15 minutes without permission, without a vote. Your word is final. This isn't a metaphor, it's literal. The White House, 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, 6 floors, a staff of 96 people. Cooks, maids, butlers. Your daily routine. Wake up at 5:30. TV, Fox and Friends. Twitter. Intelligence briefing, if you want it, you often don't want it. Lunch. Hamburgers. Always hamburgers, well done, with ketchup. Coca-Cola, 12 cans a day. Diet. You press a button on the desk and a servant brings another one. Your inner circle. This matters. Steve Bannon, chief strategist, former head of Breitbart, the mouthpiece of the alt-right. He wants to burn down the system. You're his instrument. Jared Kushner, your son-in-law, Ivanka's husband. He's 36. You put him in charge of Middle East peace, relations with China, government reform, the fight against the opioid crisis. He'll fail at all of it. Ivanka, your daughter. You call her the most beautiful woman in the world. You say that if she weren't your daughter, you'd date her. You say this on camera, more than once. Ivanka sits in on meetings with world leaders, no experience, no authority, just a smile. And Twitter, your main weapon. 80 million followers. Every word of yours is a headline, every typo is a meme. You tweet at 4 a.m., at 6 a.m., at midnight, whenever you feel like it. No press secretaries, no filters. A direct line to millions. Fake news. Witch hunt. Enemies of the people. You declare war on the press and win it in the minds of your voters. Now, the key decisions, the things that define a presidency. First event, the Muslim ban. January 27, 2017, a week after the inauguration, you signed an executive order. A travel ban on citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries. Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, Sudan. No warning, no preparation. People get stuck in airports around the world. Families are split apart. Students can't get back to school, doctors can't get back to work. Protests. Lawyers rush to the airports. Courts block the order. You're furious. So-called judge, you write on Twitter. You were taught this, the judiciary is the system is the enemy. You rewrite the order, again and again. Courts block it again. Eventually, a third version passes, a year and a half later. Watered down. Your voters think, you kept your promise. Reality, you signed a piece of paper. Second event, Charlottesville. August 12, 2017, Virginia. White nationalists march with torches. They chant, Jews will not replace us. They carry Nazi flags, swastikas. The next day, clashes. One of them drives a car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Heather Heyer, 32, dies. The whole world waits for your reaction. You step out to the press. You had very fine people on both sides. A pause. You've just put neo-Nazis on the same moral footing as the people standing against them. Your advisors are in shock. Business leaders quit your councils. Generals distance themselves. Your voters applaud. You understand, they won't abandon you. Whatever you say, you can walk out onto Fifth Avenue. Third event, the call with Ukraine. July 25, 2019. You call Ukraine's president. Zelensky. He's a comedian turned politician, new to the job. Like you, a TV star. You want something. Joe Biden is your likely rival in the 2020 election. His son Hunter worked for a Ukrainian gas company. It smells like corruption. You ask Zelensky to open an investigation into the Bidens. We need you to do us a favor, though. And meanwhile, you hold up $400 million in military aid to Ukraine, aid they need for their war with Russia. This isn't a request, it's extortion. A whistleblower leaks it to Congress. Democrats launch impeachment. December 2019, the House of Representatives votes, yes, you committed a crime. January 2020, the Senate votes, no, we won't remove you. Republicans hold the Senate, 52 to 48, along party lines. You're the third president in history to go through impeachment, and the first to be proud of it. Total and complete exoneration. That's not an exoneration, that's a political outcome. But who cares? Fourth event, COVID. January 2020. Some virus in China. Your advisors warn you, this is serious, we need to prepare, buy equipment, close the borders. You say, it's like the flu. It'll go away in April when it gets warm. February. The virus is in Europe. We have it totally under control. 15 cases. Soon it'll be 0. March. The virus is everywhere. Hospitals are overwhelmed, people are dying. You hold briefings every day. This is your show. Maybe you could inject a disinfectant into the body or ultraviolet light inside the body. Doctors are horrified. Poison control hotlines light up. People ask if they can drink bleach. You push hydroxychloroquine, a malaria drug. You say it works. It doesn't work. By the 2020 election, 230,000 dead Americans. You say without you it would have been 2 million. Maybe, no one knows, but 230,000 is a fact. Fifth event, the 2020 election. You're running for a second term against Biden, an old man of 77 who stumbles over his words. You're confident of victory. November 3rd, election night. At first you're ahead. We won, you declare at 2 a.m. The votes aren't counted yet, but you've already declared victory. Morning. The count continues. Your lead evaporates. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona. Mail-in ballots, counted last. They break for Biden. You knew this would happen. You yourself urged your voters to vote in person. Democrats voted by mail because of COVID. November 7th, Biden is declared the winner. You don't concede. It was stolen. Fraud, Dominion voting machines, dead voters, suitcases of ballots, 60 lawsuits, 60 losses, including from judges you appointed. The Supreme Court, 3 of your own justices, they refused to hear the case. Your lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, hero of 9/11, now a sweaty old man with hair dye running down his face, holds a press conference in the parking lot of a landscaping company, for seasons total. Landscaping. Next door, a sex shop and a crematorium. This isn't satire, this is reality. But you don't give up. January 2nd, 2021. You call Georgia. Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, a Republican, your own party. I just need to find 11,780 votes. One more than he got. It's recorded, it's published, it's a federal crime. He refuses. Sixth event, January 6th. You call a rally, Save America. Thousands come from Texas, from Florida, from Ohio. They believe you. They think the election was stolen. They're ready to fight. You take the stage. We're going to walk down to the Capitol. I'll be there with you. You don't go. You go back to the White House. You watch television, the crowd marches. They tear down barricades, beat police officers, smash windows, storm the building. Members of Congress hide under desks. Vice President Pence is in the basement. Your people chant, "Hang Pence." That's your own vice president. He refused to violate the Constitution for you. Now they're building a gallows on the lawn. 4 hours. 4 hours. You're silent. Your advisors are begging you, call, write something, stop them. You watch. At 4:17 p.m. you post a video, "We love you, you're very special, but go home now." This isn't a call for peace. It's a love letter. By nightfall, 5 dead, 140 police officers injured. The Capitol is trashed. A week later, a second impeachment. You're the first president with 2 impeachments. The Senate again acquits, 57 to 43. Not enough votes. January 20th, 2021, Biden's inauguration. You're not there. You're the first president in 150 years to skip his successor's inauguration. You fly to Florida, to Mar-a-Lago. This is the end. Spoiler, no. Your personal life. Let's look behind the scenes. 3 marriages, 5 children, dozens of women. Donald Jr. and Eric, from Ivana. They work at the company, play the role of heirs, praise you on camera. Behind the scenes, competition for attention. Ivanka is your favorite. It's obvious, painfully obvious. If she weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You say this on a TV show. Everyone hears it. Tiffany, from Marla. She barely appears. You barely mention her. She's a reminder of a failure. Barron, from Melania. He's 14 when you leave the White House. He's a head taller than you. You barely see him. He barely knows you. Melanian. She's next to you in photos at official events with a frozen smile. Remember the video where she pulls her hand away when you try to take it? The whole internet remembers. What she thinks, what she feels, nobody knows. Maybe she doesn't know either. Stormy Daniels, a porn actress. 2006, a few months after Barron is born, you pay her $130,000 for her silence through Michael Cohen, your lawyer, before the 2016 election, so it doesn't come out. It comes out anyway. By 2018, it's a case. In 2024, you become the first former president convicted of a felony. 34 counts. Falsifying business records. But that's still ahead. Your health. You say you're perfectly healthy. Your doctor says you're the healthiest president in history. Reality, you're 78, you weigh close to 120 kilograms. Your diet is hamburgers and Coke. You never drink, remember, because of Freddie, but Diet Coke is your addiction. 12 cans a day, sometimes more. You sleep 4 to 5 hours. You're proud of this, you call it an advantage. Doctors call it a risk factor. Your hair, America's most closely guarded secret. It's not a wig, it's a complex comb-over system. Hours in front of the mirror, a special spray. When there's wind, you panic. Your tan is orange, from a tanning bed, every day. In your own head, you look like a president. To the rest of the world, you look like a Pixar character. But you don't care. You never doubt yourself. From 2021 to 2024, exile, or not. Mar-a-Lago, your club, your residence, your headquarters. You're banned everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It hurts. Twitter was your weapon. 88 million followers, gone. But you don't sit idle. Rallies, you keep drawing crowds. The big lie, that the election was stolen, becomes an article of faith for your supporters. Money. You raise hundreds of millions to protect fair elections. Most of it goes into your own PAC, to be used for whatever. Court cases, charges pile up. Georgia, for the phone call about votes. Federal, for the documents at Mar-a-Lago. For trying to overturn the election. For business fraud in New York. 91 criminal charges. 91. You're the first former president with federal charges. The first with state charges. The first with a mugshot holding a number, and your poll numbers rise. Your supporters believe it's persecution, a witch hunt, the deep state. Every charge is proof of a conspiracy against you. Every court appearance is an ad. You're a victim, and victimhood is your best role. 2024, you're a candidate again. The primary is a formality. The party is yours. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, they try, you destroy them. You don't show up to the debates. Why would you? You're already ahead, let them fight over second place. DeSantis, the governor of Florida, your former ally, you call him the sanctimonious. He fades in the polls, drops out. Haley holds on longer. Former ambassador to the UN, your own appointee. She talks about a new generation. You call her birdbrain. By March, it's over. You're the nominee. And that same year, a verdict. May 30th, 2024. New York. A Manhattan courtroom. The jury deliberates for 2 days. They come out. Guilty on all 34 counts. You sit motionless. Your jaw clenched. Your eyes fixed on the table. Guilty. The first former president in U.S. history convicted of a felony. Outside, your supporters. They shout about a conspiracy, injustice, a witch hunt. You walk out, head not lowered. This is a disgrace, a rigged case. We will appeal. Your poll numbers don't drop, they rise. Donations, $50 million in the day after the verdict. You've turned a felony conviction into a campaign ad. It's brilliant. It's disgusting. It's you. Summer 2024, the campaign. Biden is 81. He stumbles, trails off, loses his train of thought in debates. The June debate is a catastrophe for him. He looks old, lost, broken. Democrats panic, pressure him. Biden drops out. Kamala Harris, the vice president, is now the nominee. You call her Laughing Kamala. You say she's dumb. You say she became black for political advantage. She was Indian, then she became black. That's racism. Open, deliberate. Your supporters applaud. October. The home stretch. Rallies every day. You speak for 2 hours at a time, no teleprompter, no plan. You riff about Hannibal Lecter, about sharks and electric boats, about the size of Arnold Palmer's genitals. Yes. At a rally with children present. Experts call it cognitive decline. Your supporters say, he talks like us. November 5th, 2024, election night. History repeats, but in reverse. Pennsylvania is yours, Georgia is yours, Arizona is yours. At 2:30 a.m., victory. You're back. After all of it, the impeachments, the storming of the Capitol, the 34 felony convictions. You're the 47th President of the United States, the only one in history to serve non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland, 1893. The crowd chants your name. Confetti, fireworks. You stand on the stage. 78 years old, an orange tan, a red tie. You beat everyone. January 20th, 2025. The second inauguration. Hand on the Bible. The same words. I do solemnly swear. But now everything is different. The courts are yours. 3 Supreme Court justices, your own appointees. Hundreds of federal judges, your people. Congress is yours. Republicans control both chambers. The party is yours. There's no more dissent left. They've either left or gone silent. You are the party. The party. And this time, you know exactly what you're doing. The first executive orders. Day 1. Pardons. Every January 6th rioter. 1,500 people, including those who beat police officers. They're patriots, they were unjustly persecuted. Immigration, the largest mass deportation in history. Troops at the border. Detention camps. This is an invasion. We are defending our country. Federal agencies. A purge. Thousands of firings. Loyalty is the only criterion. The deep state will be destroyed. This isn't conservatism. It's not Reagan, it's not Bush. It's something new, or something very old. The press. You promise to strip the licenses of TV networks that criticize you, threaten lawsuits, call journalists enemies of the people. Not on Twitter, in official statements. The Justice Department. You promise to prosecute your political enemies. Naming. Names. Biden, Hillary, the prosecutors who charged you. They did this to me. Now it's my turn. This is revenge, open, promised, and no one can stop you. Here's where you stand now. January 2025. The Oval Office. Your office. Outside the window, Washington, monuments, museums, the Capitol that your people stormed 4 years ago. Now you're the one in charge there. Executive orders on the desk. You find them one after another. Your hand doesn't shake. It never has. Your critics say, this is the end of democracy. Your supporters say, this is its salvation. Who's right? History hasn't been written yet. You're writing it right now. And that's the scariest part, because usually at this point we'd be talking about the death of a hero, about how the story ended, about a legacy. But your story isn't over. You're 78. You're the oldest president in history at the time of inauguration. Your term ends in 2029. You'll be 82. What happens next? Will you leave willingly, or find a way to stay? You've already joked about a third term, about being president for life. Maybe we'll do that too. It's a joke. Nobody knows. Maybe even you don't know. Myths and reality. Let's break it down. Myth, you're a brilliant businessman who built everything himself. Reality, you got at least $413 million from your father. Your casinos went bankrupt 4 times. Most of your businesses failed, from Trump Steaks to Trump University. Myth. You're a billionaire, one of the richest people in the world. Reality, your actual net worth is a mystery. Forbes estimates it at 2 to 3 billion. You claim 10. Documents show you paid $750 in taxes for years, or 0. Myth, you never drink, out of principle. Reality, you don't drink out of fear. After Freddie, it's not a virtue, it's trauma. Myth, you're an outsider who challenged the system. Reality, you're the son of a developer, raised in a 23-room house. You attended private schools, used your father's connections your whole life. Myth, you won the 2016 election against all odds. Reality, Russian interference helped you. Proven. The Comey letter about Hillary, 11 days before the election. An outdated electoral college system. You lost the popular vote by 3 million. Myth, the economy under you was the best in history. Reality, you inherited a growing economy from Obama. Your tax cuts increased the deficit by trillions. COVID wrecked everything. Myth, you built the wall. Reality, 80 kilometers of new barriers were built. Most of the construction was replacing old fencing. Mexico didn't pay a single cent. Myth, you're a tough negotiator, respected by world leaders. Reality, you cozied up to Kim Jong-un and got nothing for it. Putin played you however he wanted. Allies laughed behind your back. It's on video. Myth, January 6th was a peaceful protest. Reality, 140 police officers injured. 5 people died. It was a riot. You organized it. Myth, you're being persecuted for political reasons. Reality, you're charged with specific crimes backed by specific evidence. A jury, ordinary citizens, found you guilty. Myth, you'll make America great again. Reality, you made America divided again. Families don't speak to each other. The country is more fractured than at any time since the Civil War. What will you leave behind? A Supreme Court, conservative for a generation. 3 justices, for life. The Republican Party, remade in your image. The party of Lincoln became the party of Trump. Precedents shattered. A president who can hide his taxes, ignore congressional subpoenas, pardon his own accomplices, the norm, shifted. What seemed impossible in 2015 became ordinary in 2025. And 74 million people who love you, who believe you, who will follow you anywhere. That's your legacy. Whether you like it or not. Let's go back to the beginning. January 6, 2021. The White House dining room. You're watching the screen. Your people are storming the Capitol. You don't call, you don't stop it, you watch. In that moment, you chose yourself. Not the country, not the Constitution. Yourself. And the country chose you, again. That says something about you. But it says even more about America, about a country that voted for you twice, after all of it. What does that mean? Maybe America was always like this. Maybe you just took off the mask. Maybe you're a symptom, not the disease. Or maybe you are the disease. History will judge, someday, once you're gone. But for now, you're here, in the Oval Office, with the nuclear football, with the military, with the courts, with all the power a democratic country can grant, and with the question hanging in the air of whether it will remain one. The statistics of your life: 78 years on this earth, 3 wives, 5 children, 6 bankruptcies, 2 impeachments, 91 criminal charges, 34 felony convictions, 1 storming of the Capitol. 2 presidential terms. 0 admitted mistakes. Not a single apology in your entire life. This is you, Donald John Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America. The boy from Queens who wanted to prove he was better than Manhattan. The son who was afraid of becoming his brother. The showman who turned politics into a reality show. The man who never admitted defeat, even when he lost. You wanted your name to be remembered. Congratulations, it won't be forgotten. The only question is how. This story isn't over. You're still writing it, with every order, every tweet, every decision, and all of us are characters in it, whether we like it or not. Welcome to Trump's America. Let's see what happens next. This life is still going, but the story of power is endless. What will you become next? Option 1, Vladimir Putin. From a KGB officer to the master of Russia. 25 years of absolute
power, wars, poisonings, and no end in sight. Option 2, Richard Nixon. Watergate, paranoia. The only president who resigned. I am not a crook. The most famous lie in history. Option 3, Boris Yeltsin. Tanks in front of Parliament. Drunken dancing. The man who buried the USSR and handed Russia to Putin. Vote in the comments. Subscribe. Here, we don't read the textbooks, we live through history. End of transmission.